Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion. Delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. First timer on Ron Siegel Radio, Martha Patterson with Martha. Hey, easy for me to say. Is it Monday? Martha Patterson is with us. Geisler Patterson Law, welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money. I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, we're celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. What are we celebrating today? I see it coming up here right on my screen. I've beaten anorexia, so we're going to go with National French Toast Day today. Where was it? We were Palm Desert, place right there. Gosh, I wish I do remember the name of it. It's in a mall right there off on El Paseo. They make some of the greatest French toast. Pricey, of course. It's El Paseo, so you know it's going to be pricey. But great French toast right there. They have a breakfast that you can't even finish. My wife and I go there and we'll share breakfast. It's massive. But I do enjoy some French toast. Let's move right along and see what's going on here. Dow Jones Industrial Average right now, whoa, it's up 177 points. The S&P 500 is up 15. The NASDAQ is up 50. Oil up $1.82 a barrel. 10-year Treasury down again, 4.336. If you're thinking about buying a house, that's good news for you. Let's take a look and see how that translates into gas prices. $4.88 right here in the formerly Golden State. And we like taxes, so we get to pay extra on our gas prices too. And I know the governor said it's only like 70 or 80 cents, and it's the oil companies that are sticking it to California. Does anybody really believe that?
It is what it is.
Yeah, so our friends right there in Utah, okay, our loan partner there in Utah, $3.18 a gallon. I guess the gas companies like Utah better than California because they're $3.18. Josh, $4.18, $4.88 in California. Yeah, but at least we're going down. We're heading in the right direction. Maybe we won't have to pay quite as much money for gasoline over the holidays. We will see. Hopefully the president is awake and refilling the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. So, he said he was going to do it under 80, but, I think maybe he meant 80 years old, so he's never going to do it. Let's see what's going on. Let's see. Fed's Waller says economy may be slowing enough to tame inflation. Really? We've been talking about that for how long now that inflation has already been tamed? If they would look at current data instead of old data, we've talked about our feelings about the Federal Reserve. Yes.
Such an idiot.
All of them. But, what are we going to do? We've got to live with these people. I also noticed that all-time higher or breaking records again, Black Friday sales. But the downside. So we're going out there, we're spending a lot of money. Our credit cards are maxed out, so we're not putting them on credit cards. So what are we doing now? Extended pay. Is that any different than a credit card? Sometime, other than the U.S. government, you got to pay your debts. It's just the way it is. And we're going to find out at some point in time, when is it going to happen? When are we going to start seeing these things? Well, I've told you before, second quarter 2024. Just my forecast. And again, in about 2 weeks, we're going to go over and see what our friends over at Chapman University have to say about the forecast of the economy. December 14th, I believe it is. And yes, I go there every year and watch it and listen to what they have to say, especially since I served on the 3rd economic forecast staff at Chapman College before it was even a university. Yeah, that goes back a day or two. And we'll see what they have to say about what's going on in the economy. Will we be going into a recession? Second quarter of next year. My forecast, 5.5% unemployment. California is already at, I think, 4.6. And they say that we lead the country. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if it comes to pass. But what does that mean for you? What does that mean for our properties, our real estate? Well, I keep hearing it over and over again. Ron, I'm going to wait till interest rates go down and prices crash. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Interest rates will go down. They generally do in a recession. The Federal Reserve might wake up. They might realize that they don't need to crash the economy before they start fixing it. And real estate values are going to skyrocket. Why? It's called pent-up demand. Those people that needed to right size, they're going to have that opportunity to right size. Those people that had babies and couldn't afford a house, yeah, they're going to go out and they're going to be able to do that as interest rates come down. And what we're going to see for those people that want to wait, because I know you're out there, I hear you talking about it all the time. What you're going to see is you're going to go back to 2021. Do you remember what real estate was like in 2021? Now, I'm not saying we're going to go back to 3% interest rates. I don't believe that'll happen. Quite frankly, I don't want it to happen. The only times I've seen interest rates that have been that low in my lifetime have been at the Great Recession. Don't want that again. And during the pandemic. Don't want that again. So I'd rather see interest rates, 4s, 5s. That would be nice. 2s and 3s, that means we've got an economic problem, significant problem. So don't want to see that. But I would like to see it go down. But what am I saying then? It's going to go into 2021. Well, multiple offers, bidding over the ask price, losing out, having to go and make a lot of offers in order to get anything accepted. We are heading back there. Just a forecast from someone that's been watching this since the early 80s. Just throw that out there for you. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, do you need a will? Do you need a trust? We're going to talk about it. What are the top 3 housing market questions are on your mind? We'll talk about that. And yes, we're going to give away another trip. Your choice is the selection today. Yesterday, we gave away a trip to Hawaii. Today, we're going to do Hawaii, Nashville, or Lake Tahoe. You get to choose which one you want. We're going to give that away. Certificate, 4 days, 3 nights. Other than Hawaii, that's 6 days, 5 nights. We don't pay your transportation. We don't pay the taxes. We don't pay the fees. You get the certificate for that hotel room. Could be significant. But we're going to raffle that off today, so make sure you stay tuned for that as well. You can reach me anytime off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990, and every day at this time. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Got a mobile app for you. I haven't mentioned this in a while. ronismylender.com will take you right to our mobile app. Put it right on your phone. Got a calculator, a mortgage calculator right on there. You can apply for your loan right on there, upload documents. A lot of good stuff right there on the mobile app. ronismylender.com. Every day this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates. They don't tell us APR, points paid, points received. They just tell us the locked rates. And that's with 42% market share of all mortgage transactions nationwide. So they've got a good idea of what people are locking at. Now, we saw the bond went down yesterday, which means the rates, or bond went up yesterday, which means rates should have gone down. But for the most part, that's not what happened. The 30-year conforming loan, 7.252, up a little bit. 30-year jumbo loan, 7.604, up. 30-year FHA loan, that was down, 7.019. The 30-year USDA, that's our rural areas, generally no down payment, 7.098. That was down. I hate reporting this one because it's my favorite loan. It's the best loan on the market. It's only for those that earned it. It is the 30-year VA loan. That was up just a little bit yesterday, 6.844 for a 30-year fixed rate loan. So even though it was up a little bit, I can't complain. 6.844 is where that locked at. And if you want our commentary every morning as early as we can based on the data release, we put out a 1, 2, 3-page synopsis of what we see in the mortgage world. You can get that for free, rsrmarketminute.com, rsrmarketminute.com. Let's take a look and see what's going on in the mortgage world right now, or what's in the markets right now. S&P 500 is up 13 points. 10-year Treasury is down 5 basis points, 4.338. That's good news. Mortgage-backed securities are up 24 basis points. That's good news. But why? All that information is available on that super secret website, google.com. But I'm going to tell you what's driving this market. And it's not what you're hearing from Diana Olick on CNBC because, well, I just shouldn't say this, but I will. Don't listen to her when it comes to real estate. The next time she gets something right will also be the first time. You hear yesterday talking about how bad it is to buy a house right now? Well, let's take a look at see what the numbers really say. Because Case-Shiller, they came out with their home price index. It is the gold standard for appreciation. Showed that home prices rose 0.7% in September. Latest data they have out. Home prices have been on the rise since January and are now up 3.9% from last year. Case-Shiller is continuing to set new all-time highs in home prices as of July. This index is on pace for a 6% appreciation this year. What's normal, Diana Olick? About 4%, so it's going ahead of schedule. Now remember, we only have the data through September so far. It's likely to think we may see prices slow through the end of the year, which is typically slower. But don't forget, we also had that 8% interest rates for a little bit during that last part of the year. All 20 cities in their 20-city index show gains. So the increase in today's report, widespread across the U.S. And they actually look at houses, the same house from the last sale to the current sale, and see what that was. It's not like going with median home prices, which is a bogus number. FHFA home price index. That's the Federal Housing Finance Agency released their home price index, which measures home price appreciation on single-family homes with a conforming loan amounts. Different than Case-Shiller, it does not include cash buyers or jumbo loans. The FHFA reported that price rose 0.6% in September and are up 6.1% year over year. FHFA has continued to set new record highs in home prices every month since February of this year. Did you hear that on CNBC? Sorry. Looking at the top 5 appreciation reports in the U.S. since January, appreciation has been on the rise, and according to Case-Shiller, FHFA, CoreLogic, Black Knight, and Zillow, home values are setting new all-time highs, surpassing the peak from last year and more than recovering from the downturn we saw in the second half of 2022. Remember, home prices rose 9% in the first half of 2022, fell 3% in the second half, completed the year at a 6% appreciation. In 2023, they're on pace to appreciate 6 to 8% based on their pace through August, depending upon the appreciation report. Again, we may see this pace slow down. Apartment list. This is a big report right here. Apartment list rental data released its November rental report showing that new rents fell 0.9% during the month and are now down 1.1% year over year. I'm sorry, 11%. Can't see if there's a dot in there. My screen's too small. 11% year over year. Biggest 4-month drop in a row, and should translate to lower shelter costs in the inflation reports we see in the Consumer Price Index, CPI, and the Personal Consumption Expenditure, PCE, which would be a big benefit for lower inflation. That's what the Fed's looking at eventually when they catch up with the data, because they've been looking at old data all this time. And again, I always, I don't know, I've got this sound that always comes up when we talk about the Fed.
Such an idiot.
That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. Make a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Let's chat. And being that we're in the holiday season, I'm going to suggest that what we're going to talk about today is the greatest gift anybody can give to their family. Martha Patterson is with us. Geisler Patterson Law, welcome.
Thank you so much.
So I always say this, Martha, you tell me if I'm wrong, that I think a trust is probably the greatest gift we can give our loved ones.
It really is, because, you know, when you die, if you have a house and you go through probate, so my fees are guaranteed by statute, and the executor, they could waive them, but they're guaranteed by statute. So with the median price of a home allegedly being $1 million, I did the math.
Okay.
and it's $23,000 I get, $23,000 the executor gets. And then, of course, the court has to take their cut. And, $4,000 or $5,000 later, you're at well over $50,000 just because you died. And all of that could be avoided by doing a living trust.
And without being specific, approximately what is a living trust going to cost?
So, it varies. If you have a basic family, it's going to be more affordable. If you have his, hers, their kids, it gets more expensive because it can get messed up more.
So on $1 million home, it's going to be less than the $50,000 you just mentioned.
Oh, like maybe some, a really solid plan would be, $4,000 or $5,000 for a really good trust that takes care of not only avoiding probate, avoiding taxes. And my personal crusade is I want to make sure you don't only plan for what happens if you die, but if you don't die and you end up with dementia, you can end up in court. Now, Britney Spears didn't have dementia, but she was in court for 13 years while everybody took all of her money.
Wow. And you made a comment there that I want to really dig into. If you don't die, is there a new way out that I haven't heard about?
There's not a new way out, but as with the aging boomers, the number of people living with dementia are increasing. Right now, approximately 1 in 5 people living in California have dementia.
Wow.
Yeah, it's growing because as we age, our brains age and dementia just becomes more prevalent with aging. But it can happen very young, and we're seeing an increase in young onset dementia as well.
What is when you say young? What is how do you define young?
I have seen dementia in somebody as young as 35 years old,
Wow.
living with a young onset Alzheimer's. Brutal. That's rare, but I'm seeing a lot of people coming in their 50s and 60s. My husband died with Alzheimer's at 66, and now that seems really young. It used to seem old, but now it's seeming pretty young.
As I get older and older, 66 is younger and younger.
Yeah.
I think my kids would say 66. Josh, you're probably saying 66 is old, but I just turned 61, so I'm 66 is a young person.
Yeah, I mean, for Alzheimer's, we think of somebody 80 and 90, but I mean, the number of people I see in their 50s and 60s living with dementia, it's growing a lot, and I'm not sure why. I have lots of theories, chemicals.
So what does a trust do to help us with that?
Well, if you have your trust set up and you actually think about it in advance, you can manage assets not only when you're dead, but during your lifetime so that you don't end up in our corrupt conservatorship court. And I'm going to say both LA and Orange County have severe corruptions in their conservatorship court.
Wow. Okay. We don't need that problem, do we?
We do not.
Okay. And so what do I need to think about in advance?
Well, you need to think about in advance. If I cannot pay my own bills, I can't write checks anymore, I don't remember that I'm supposed to pay my gas and electric bill, who do I want to take over? Who's not going to steal from me while I'm alive and go, oh, I can get my inheritance early? Who can I trust? And make sure you have that person set up in advance, maybe even acting alongside you as your co-trustee, co-manager, not co-owner. If I add you to my bank account, if I put Ron on my bank account, now Ron owns half my bank account. And if I do that for convenience, there's no such thing. Same for a house. People do that all the time. I'm going to put my kid on for convenience. There's no such thing. You now have my bank account, have my real estate. As a trustee, I'm only a co-manager.
Okay. So we want to talk about more about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. We're going to do our giveaway, a trip. Where do you want to go? Lake Tahoe? Hawaii? What's the other one I have? I can't even remember it right now. Nashville. God, I love country music, and I didn't even remember. Lake Tahoe, Hawaii, or Nashville. We're going to give away one of those to somebody that's in our database. Have you got into our database yet? Well, we're going to talk about that as well. We're going to also go through are the top 3 housing market questions on your mind. We'll talk about that also. You can reach me anytime off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Hey there, friends. Wondering if now is the right time to buy a home? Or are you waiting for a bunch of foreclosures? The facts speak loud and clear. Defaults and foreclosures are down. Sure, we might be headed towards a recession. But did you know interest rates typically drop and real estate values often go up during a recession? So what are you waiting for? Higher prices or higher payments? Don't navigate these waters alone. Connect with RonSiegelRadio.com today. That's RonSiegelRadio.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com. rsrmoney.com. Are the top 3 housing market questions on your mind? When it comes to what's happening in the housing market, there's a lot of confusion going around right now. You may hear one thing in conversation with your friends. You see something totally different on the news and read something on social media that contradicts both of those thoughts. Then if you think about making a move, that can leave you with a lot of lingering questions. That's where a trusted local real estate agent comes in. Here are the top 3 questions people are asking about today's housing market and the data to help answer them. Think about that, the data, not anybody's opinion. Number 1, what's next for mortgage rates? Mortgage rates are higher than they've been in recent years. And if you're looking to buy a home, that impacts how much you can afford. That's why so many buyers want to know what's ahead for mortgage rates. The answer to that question is no one can say for certain. But here's what we know based on historical trends. There's a long-standing relationship between mortgage rates and inflation. Basically, when inflation is high, mortgage rates tend to follow suit. Over the past year, inflation was up, so mortgage rates were as well. But inflation is easing now, and this is why the Federal Reserve has recently paused their federal funds rate hikes, which means many experts believe mortgage rates will begin to come down. And in some ways, we've started to see hints of slightly lower mortgage rates in recent weeks. But it's certainly been volatile and will likely continue to be that way going into next year. Some ongoing variation is to be expected, but the anticipation is that in 2024, we'll see a downtrend. As Aziz Sunderji, strategist at Home Economics, says, quote, the bottom line is that interest rates are likely to be lower, perhaps even lower than many optimists think, in the weeks and months to come, unquote. Number 2, where are home prices headed? While there's been a lot of concern prices would come crashing down this year, data shows that did not happen. In fact, home prices are rising in most of the nation. Experts say that trend will continue just at a slower pace. That's much more normal for the housing market, and that's a good thing. To help show just how confident experts are in the continued depreciation, take a look at the Home Price Expectation Survey from Pulsenomics. It's a survey of a national panel of over 100 economists, real estate experts, and investment and market strategists. Again, we've got a graph for you if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed. Estimated home price appreciation, December to December as forecast in the third quarter of 2023 by the Home Price Expectation Survey. 23, 3.32. 24, 2.17. I think that's low. 25, 3.24. 26, 3.79. And 2027, 4.18. That's Home Price Expectation Survey's forecast. Number 3, is a recession around the corner? While recession talk has been a common thing over the past few years, there's good news on that front. The Wall Street Journal polls experts on this high topic regularly, And last year at this time, most of them thought a recession would have happened by now. But as experts look at all the leading indicators, they're changing their minds and saying a recession is getting less and less likely. The latest results show that more experts now think we're headed for another recession. Again, we've got a chart. Do experts think a recession is coming? In October of 2022, yes was 63%, no 37%. In October of 2023, yes is 48%, no 52%. This big news for the housing market, and while 48% to 52% split may seem close to half and half, the key thing to focus on is that the majority of these experts think we've avoided a recession already. Bottom line, the big takeaway, the data shows there isn't cause for concern. There are actually more signs of hope. Give me a call at 800-306-1990. We can talk about the housing market questions on your mind as we head into the new year. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment, brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Going to continue our conversation. Martha Patterson is with us, an elder law attorney. So, Martha, what is the difference between an elder law attorney and a traditional trust or probate attorney?
So part of the difference between an elder law attorney and traditional estate planning and elder law attorneys, we study issues related to aging and disability. So Medi-Cal, Medicare, how to pay for care, Social Security, all of those things that affect us when we age. We have an expertise in all of those areas. I really almost now exclusively my clients are facing dementia, disability, aging, and it is different living with dementia, living with disability, because now you have to figure out how do you pay for care. And guess what? Medicare doesn't pay for a whole lot.
Really?
It really doesn't.
Okay, I thought that once you get to the age to qualify, you were just done. Go and get your Part A or Part C or Part D or Part Z or whatever they call those things, and you had it all made.
Oh, yeah. Well, everybody thinks that Medicare is going to pay for, their long-term care and pay for them in a nursing home. Well, I can magically read everybody's Medicare policies. It gives you a maximum of 100 days, and they're getting stingy. People don't know that Medicare is actually getting stingy. And typically they pay for about 2 or 3 weeks of, quote, rehab care, and then they send you home with a broken hip, if it's
Really?
you and your lovely wife is, we've got this guy who's, 200 pounds and his wife is 90 pounds.
Or 200
She's
pounds
the
overweight like
caregiver.
some of us.
Yeah, well, we won't pick on people. But yeah, we've got the big guy and the 90-pound little old lady. She's going to be his caregiver, and there's nothing. Nobody pays for care at home. Nobody pays for the care in your skilled facilities, much less, our wonderful, all our assisted livings, all, Shady Acres, the ones you drive by, the beautiful places where you're going to live your days out and wonder and love and all of that kind of stuff.
Is there a average? I mean, I've had some folks from the Alzheimer's Society on, and I've never asked this question, but is there an average lifespan of somebody who's got dementia?
Right now, what I have read and I've seen is the long-term care insurance people say the average span is about 5 years.
5 years, and you get Medicare is going to cover 100 days.
Yeah, so 5 years in care. Yeah. So
you've got about 4 3/4 years that you've got to figure out what kind of a Coleman tent you like.
Right. And the Alzheimer's Association is predicting that at age 80, about half of the people at age 80 will have some form of dementia.
Half.
Yeah.
That's scary.
So when you reach 80, it's like, okay, so is it you or me who gets dementia? And then memory care, everybody thinks memory care is paid for because everybody thinks, of course, memory care is going to be medical. Memory care is not medical. It is not paid for by any medical insurance. It's never paid for by Medicare.
And those things are all real expensive. So it's not like, even if you qualify for it or if you need it, it's so expensive that many people can't even get it just because they can't afford it.
They can't afford it, and then everybody wants. And I'm an expert in helping people get Medi-Cal. And next year, Medi-Cal is not going to even care how much money you own, how many assets you own to get Medi-Cal. That's great. They still care about your income, and income counts. So there's a share of cost for Medi-Cal. People think Medi-Cal's free. It's not. There's a share of cost for that, but you're stuck now with only your skilled nursing facilities. The ones that look like hospitals, and they're not building new ones of those, and they range from mediocre to crappy. And
this isn't really exciting. This is not exciting stuff here. Wow.
It's not, and you need to plan for it, because I planned for it, so my husband didn't have to be in a mediocre nursing home. He ended up in private care because I planned ahead. I had made sure that my estate planned for if I died and my husband with dementia is the only person who could write checks, he was not going to be the one signing the checks. I had my son as my co-trustee, so no matter if I'm in an auto accident, I'm in the hospital, we're covered. I had that done, and I actually am a big fan of the newer long-term care products. There are annuities and life insurance products that aren't lose it or use it.
And we've talked about that a little bit on the program in the past. So there are some good long-term care products out there that you can still get. So I'd heard they got to be so expensive that nobody could afford them.
They have, and it's not perfect, but it's leveraging your money.
Okay.
You have to think about, can I leverage my money? How am I going to pay for care? Part of planning. People are not thinking. Everybody talks about every other lawyer or all the estate planning documents talk about avoiding probate and avoiding taxes. But, now I want to stay in my house. How do I live in my house? How do I pay for my care? Home care is now $35 an hour through an agency for, a lovely caregiver who's not very well trained to, sit and babysit me.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting one. We did see have a little experience with that one earlier this year. So we understand that one completely. I want to talk to you when we come back, because you talked about disability insurance. Is there any difference between the disability insurance or that you would get when you're when you're up in years, as opposed to the disability insurance when you're younger? I want to talk to you about that when we come back. Sure. We're going to give away our trip. And I see your question, JD. We'll answer that when we come back as well. You can reach me anytime off air, number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
79% of all credit reports have errors that should be corrected through factual disputing. You could be saving thousands every year if your report was accurate. CreditSanitizer.com provides a free credit report audit when you furnish a specific $1 credit report. You can use this information to request corrections to your report and potentially save thousands of dollars. Get your free credit audit at CreditSanitizer.com. That's CreditSanitizer.com for a free credit report audit. CreditSanitizer.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio, or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So JD had a question here. I'm planning to list a house in North Seattle area. What can I do to get top dollar? RSRSalesmax.com. RSRSalesmax.com. JD, we did a program on that, and I gave you 3 different strategies to get the top dollar for your property. RSRSalesmax.com will get you that answer right there. Josh, let's go ahead and do our giveaway now. So we are thanking you. This is the season of gratitude. So we appreciate you. We appreciate your listening and your support of Ron Siegel Radio. So what we're going to do is, I don't know the names. If you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, you're actually seeing our wheel of names. And these are people that are in our database that have either listened to the program, done a mortgage through our team, applied for a mortgage. Maybe they didn't do a mortgage through our team. One way or another, they got into our database. I have no idea who they are. Every one of those different colors is a different person. When we say hit it, Josh is going to hit the button. He'll spin, and you'll have till 6 o'clock tomorrow, 7 o'clock tomorrow night to claim your prize. Let's see who the winner is. Carrie Jones is our winner. Carrie Jones. Carrie, you got till 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. That would be November 29th to claim your prize. You get to tell us, do you want to go to Hawaii, Nashville, or Lake Tahoe? We don't pay for the transportation, taxes, or fees. We give you a certificate for your hotel stay. Hawaii, 6 days, 5 nights. Nashville, 4 days, 3 nights. Lake Tahoe, 4 days, 3 nights. That's our raffle, our gratitude for today. We'll do it again tomorrow. We're going to continue our conversation right now. Martha Patterson is with us, elder law attorney, and we've been chatting about dementia, not a pleasant subject, and beyond being not a pleasant subject, I lived with it with my dad, so I understand firsthand. It's not fun to be a family member or a loved one of somebody with dementia, but there are some planning things that Martha's been sharing with us about things that you can do to take it. Here's the issue. Somebody is going to leave their house today and not come home tonight. I have no idea who that is, but there's no reservations. There's no advanced warning. It just happens. So if you don't take care of getting your affairs in order, you're just doing a disservice to your loved ones, because at their worst, most vulnerable time, they have no idea what you had in mind or what you wanted. And there could be multiple loved ones. I'm going to share a quick story here, Martha.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I had, my father had dementia.
Okay.
And I said to my wife, I don't want her to be taking care of me. If I have dementia, just put me in a home, take care of me, and, enjoy your life. And my sister thought that I'm nuts.
I hear that, but that's my plan, and I've got that all planned in advance.
And I told my sister that, and my wife said, you better put it in writing.
Yeah.
Right? Because I have a great relationship with my wife. I've got a 36 years into a life sentence. I've got a great relationship with my sister. Both of them have my best interest at heart. But, if I don't put this in writing, then, it's just hearsay.
Yeah, well, we have to put everything in writing. So, who's going to get your state? And everybody goes, well, it's easy. It goes equally to my kids. That's the state has a plan for you. But what if you have stepkids who have become your children, but they're not legally your kids, or you are, or you hate your, a child and don't want them to get anything, or they're your child, which is very typical these days. More than one kid. People have one kid who's sadly addicted to drugs and living homeless out on the street corner in a tent. And now, you might not want them to get your money.
They might not be responsible enough to get your money.
Right. And they're going to blow it all on fentanyl and kill themselves and 100 other people. They're not responsible. We can plan. We can actually take care of a child with disability or even addiction. We can hold on to their money so it's not spent on the wrong things. We can do all those things. But if we don't put it in writing, the state's just going to say, this is who gets your money. And it seems like always so logical, but it's not ever that easy if you don't put it on writing. You have to put your plans. And realistically, we do those living trusts to avoid our probate court because probate court is expensive, and if you have a
And
will,
slow.
it goes to probate and slow and extremely slow right now. Orange County just did a report. I think they're backlogged like 800 petitions getting them through our filing system because they had to move the courthouse from Santa Ana to Costa Mesa because of the asbestos, and they're having
Well,
to rebuild it.
And you had mentioned earlier about the cost, and I'm going to submit there's a cost that we didn't even talk about. So you had mentioned on a $1 million property that you've got an administrator expense of roughly $23,000, or an attorney expense of $23,000, executor roughly $23,000, court $4,000. But here's the other expense that comes in there, and I'm dealing with a family right now in Northern California. So they're going through all these expenses that you outlined, but they didn't get any. It took a while for them to get their letters of administration.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody's got to pay the mortgage during that time period.
Oh, yeah. And oh, that is one of my not so fun things that I have done more than once, having to go on behalf of heirs to an estate to court to get an order telling the mortgage company, hey, stop foreclosure. Everybody's dead. You might not, they may refuse to accept payments on that mortgage, by the way. So now I have to stop them from foreclosing, and we're waiting on the nice, lovely clerks to go through the 800 backlogged orders in Orange County to sign them so we can have those letters issued and get and pay that mortgage. And it takes 6 weeks to get into court from the day I file it. That's not the time it takes me to get to me. And then the court can take another 6 weeks to sign the orders, and meanwhile you're paying that mortgage and your family's suffering, and they're scared and they're worried. And if they have a buyer, that buyer may have come and gone.
Absolutely.
And and I have seen that. I lost count of how many times I've seen that happen. We think we've
and I'm not even in the business, and I've seen it happen.
Yeah, I mean, you see it all the time, and people don't do that. And the other really bomb that happens all the time, people get living trusts. They go online, they get them from some cheapy lawyer, some cheap online service, and nobody transfers the title of the house into the trust. And it's still in my name. And when I die, if it's in my name, it's not in my trust. And I have to go to probate court to have it put into my trust. It does not automatically happen. I either go to probate court on a non-probate probate petition, or I go to court on a probate. Still, that house, if it's in my name and I'm dead, I still cannot sign. If I'm dead, I cannot sign title over to you.
I don't know what the number is now, and I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask you, but last time I had heard, it was about 80% of the trusts that were created had never been funded properly.
Oh, yeah. It's 80% of trusts fail. They fail, they're not funded, and they fail because of the reason I discovered with my mother-in-law. It's the stupidest reason ever. You are my mother-in-law. You have dementia. You don't know it. Then either you won't go to a doctor, or we can't get 2 doctors to sign those nice letters saying, my mother-in-law was Doris Patterson, who can't remember her husband's in the hospital, is incompetent. But getting 2 doctors to sign letters, well, good luck with that, with how medicine has changed.
Sure, because it's all litigious. Nobody wants to put their name out there for anything.
Right.
Just because they don't want something to come back to them and say, you were wrong, or have a lawsuit against them.
Right. So now that's when you're alive, we can't get you declared incapacitated. And then if you're dead and your house is in your trust, we're still in our, expensive, messy, and occasionally corrupt probate court.
And trusts make it so simple.
They do, if they're set up right, if they're funded, and if you think about those what ifs. You don't want to leave your disabled kid nothing, but you don't want to leave them money, because if they are on a particular public benefit, it's called SSI. It's for people who are both poor and disabled. You have to remain poor your entire life. We have wonderful public benefits that pay for people who literally cannot work, people who who are developmentally disabled, people with Down syndrome, people who literally, I mean, it is not easy to prove that you're this disabled, by the way. This is not,
Exactly.
I mean, these are the people, but they have to have no money. Well, you can set aside money to take care of them and keep those public benefits. But if you don't do it in advance, they're going to lose all the public benefits and it's going to be a mess.
Got to do it in advance. Got to do it the right way. If you want help in doing that, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. No, I don't do it, but I can introduce you to Martha Patterson, who does do that for you.
Right.
And again, give me a call at 800-306-1990. As always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh and Sean for engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990 at ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.